and the timer is started, so I have to go quickly. In this video, I'm going to be making a Roblox tower defense game in 1 minute, 10 minutes, and 1 hour to see how different they'll be. So first things first, I'm going to have to get a kill brick from the toolbox. Okay, now I need to make a UI quickly for placing towers. Place tower. Hopefully this works. Hopefully this works. Okay, I'm going to scale it. I'm going to move the kill brick to replicated storage. I have to do this quick, so I asked AI to do part of it. Okay, so now we're going to get a zombie from the toolbox. Hopefully this works. Hopefully this works. I'm gonna paste them around a bunch of times. And then I just finished editing the code so that the kill brick only damages zombies. And this is the code that Grok made for the text button. So hopefully this works. I'm in. The zombies are attacking, but the place tower doesn't work. Okay, so I just looked over the place tower code, and it turns out that Grok made this to be placed in a local script in starter GUI. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and do. Now I've placed it and it's made this button, and this does spawn the brick, but the problem is it spawns the brick only on the client. So I guess technically it spawns the brick, but this isn't exactly what we wanted. And I think that's the timer. Yeah, this is pretty bad. So the idea was that the kill bricks would kind of act as towers and the zombies would walk over them, but that didn't really happen. The zombies can't even interact with the kill bricks. So the 1 minute game ended up being pretty underwhelming. So now it's time to up the ante and increase the time I'll have by 10-fold onto the 10-minute game. All right, so now for the 10-minute game, I'm gonna make a little map. All right, everybody, so I just finished a basic little map for the game, but I've already spent a minute on this, so I gotta get going to the rest of the stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna get a zombie model from the toolbox. I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna keep the animate script, but then the other scripts I'm just gonna delete, and I'm gonna code new logic for him. So now that I coded this, if I go into Studio and I test it real quick, he should walk to the first waypoint and only the first one. I haven't coded the other ones yet. So as you can see, he walks to the first waypoint. Now he's gonna stop here. I have to code the rest. All right, so I've just coded a little script that will make the zombie walk to all of the waypoints. As you can see, he's gonna walk all the way around the path and then into the end bit here. So now it's time to code the tower functionality. Hopefully I still have enough time. So I just found a scout NPC off of the toolbox from, I believe it is from either TDS or Tower Battles. So I'm gonna change him up, and then I am going to recode him so that he shoots at the zombie. So let's get right on that. So I just coded him to shoot, and as you can see, every couple seconds he will turn and shoot at the zombie, and the zombie loses a little bit of health. But I'm basically out of time, so I'm just gonna clone a bunch of zombies in a line here, and then I'm gonna make a bunch of scouts. And, I'm out of time. So a tower defense game is really complex, and I had time to make like the bones of a tower defense game, but I didn't have time to make any of the real like functionality. I didn't have time to make money or waves, but I guess, you know, the scouts and the zombies are a good starting point. You know, it's not nearly as bad as the 1 minute game. While the 10-minute game was better than the 1 minute game, it still wasn't good enough. It wasn't really finished. Now it's time to see what I can do with a whole hour. All right, so I want the 1 hour game to be significantly better than the 10-minute and the 1 minute game combined. To do this, I'm gonna completely lock in, which means I'm gonna be adding narration in post so I can put all of my attention towards development. So hopefully this one will actually be a playable game. Let's get started. First, I started creating the map. I recolored the base plate, then I made a basic tree and pasted it everywhere. After that, I created a simple path and I put down a basic house and cave for the zombies to come out of and enter. After that, I went into the toolbox and found the same scout model from earlier, and I started creating some UI for purchasing and placing towers. Once I had the UI done, I had to make the placement system for towers. Usually in normal tower defense games, you could place towers with your mouse, but for this game, since a system like that would be way too complex, I decided to make it to where the tower will place wherever you're standing, so I could save time. Doing it this way can be a bit buggy, but it works relatively well. After a bit of trial and error, I got the towers working and shooting at enemies perfectly. I also made some minor improvements and added range to the towers. Then after that, I made the path more complex and I set up a system for the zombies to move, which I ran into some trouble with as well. However, I ended up getting it working and I made it modular so I could add more maps if I had enough time, although I never ended up having enough time to add more maps. Then it was time to do a bit of refining to make the game more finished and actually playable. First, I made it to where whenever a tower that you place shot an enemy, you'd get 5 cash, so there's an actual way to make money and progress. After that, I made it to where if a zombie reached the end of the map, it'd kick all players for losing, which is kind of a dumb way to do it, but I did this because I didn't want to waste time coding a health system similar to what you'd see in a normal tower defense game like Tower Defense Simulator, but I still wanted to make it possible to lose. Then I added zombie spawning. I would call it a wave system, but it's extremely simplistic. The way it works is every time a zombie spawns, the next one will spawn quicker than the last one. It's kind of dumb, and it means there won't be any zombie types like you would see in TDS or tower battles, but I was running out of time, and at least it works. Then I cleaned up the UI, and I added a new tower. I didn't have enough time to create like a super unique tower design or anything, so I just called it the Epic Scout, which is basically the normal Scout, but it has a different color of shirt, and it deals more damage, and it gives way more cash to the player who placed it. After I finished working on the Epic Scout, I started working on another map, but unfortunately I completely ran out of time, so the other map isn't going to be in the final game. There's a lot of things I would have added if I didn't have the time constraint. I would have added more towers, more maps, and I would have refined the systems more, but unfortunately I only had an hour. Now, to truly test the game's quality, I'm going to invite my friend Zekram in to test the game with me, and we're going to see if he can tell that the game was made in only an hour. But before I test the game out with my friend, let's talk about the game a bit. Honestly, for an hour, I think I did a great job, and there's quite a few factors as to why. First off, the 1 minute and 10 minute games helped me get my ideas in order before I even started on the 1 hour game. And honestly, this wasn't my first attempt at the 1 hour game. Let me show you what happened on my first attempt. Alright, and now that I've finished the tower handler, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Is it cheating if I pause the timer to go to the bathroom? You know what, I'm just gonna pause it. Okay, I'm going to the bathroom.
A few moments later.
Alright, so now I need to... Bro, I didn't pause the timer. Yeah, so after that, I begrudgingly started over. But honestly, I think it made the game a lot better. Since a lot of the issues I ran into the first time, I had already figured out by the second time. Like on the first attempt, towers were almost completely dysfunctional for some reason, but luckily, I figured it out on the second try. Also, I spent a lot of time on this video, and subscribing would help me out a lot. Anyways, after all of that, it's finally time to see if it was worth it. Let's test the game out. Let me call my friend. Okay, Zekram, so this is my tower defense game. What do you think?
Dude, this game is trash, bro. What is this game? Dude, why is there only 2 towers, bro? Okay. What is this map, bro? Looks like you spent 2 seconds on this map.
Bro, I spent a long time on this, dude. I don't even know what you mean. I spent ages on this, Zekrom. You don't get it, bro.
Bro, what is this? What is this placing, bro?
Dude, I spent a long time on this. I don't know what you mean. I think this is intentional game design, whether you see it or not. I did this on purpose.
This is horrid.
No, dude, this is like part of the game. It's like half tower defense, half obby. Like, you don't get it. Okay, Zekrom, so tell me, like, what do you actually think of this game? I spent
What do I actually think of this game?
Yeah.
What do I actually think of this game? Bro, this game is garbage, bro! I can make this in like 30 seconds, dude. The worst thing I've ever seen in my whole life.
So yeah, my friend didn't really like the game. I guess you need more than an hour to make a whole tower defense game on Roblox. But honestly, I had a great time, and I think the result is really cool. So let me know if I should do this again, and if I do this again, what genre should I do?